Okay, and this is a continuation of the notes for section 3.1 in Algebra 2. And we're going to start out here with learning how to write a polynomial in what's called standard form. Now, when you're in standard form, all of the like terms have been combined. So, for instance, you might put together 3x squared and 5x squared and write it as 8x squared. And then you also want to put your degree, your terms going from highest exponent down to lowest exponent. So descending order is what that's called. So if you scan this one here, you'll see that the highest exponent in that problem is the cubes. So you start there. 2x cubed and 6x cubed is 8x cubed. Then you move on to the next highest exponent, which is second power, so you're going to combine those. Here's negative 1x squared minus 5x squared. So far that's minus 6x squared plus 2x squared. That's minus 4x squared when you combine it. And then you can combine your x's. There's 3. 1 more makes 4. 2 more makes 5, 6. So you get 6x there. And you're going to combine your constants at the end, and I see a 4 there and a minus 7 there. So that's going to be minus 3. Okay, we'll do the same thing on this next one. There's nothing that combines. We just have to put everything in the right order. Highest exponent first, which is the negative 6x cubed. That part's done. Then we go to the second power, which is positive 5x squared. That part's done. And we got two things left, the minus x and the plus 2, positive 2. So that's how you write stuff in standard form. You'll notice that I combined everything that I could, and that the highest exponent starts and gets progressively lower as you go down the row. So third power, second power, first power, that type of thing. Okay, now we're going to learn how to classify a polynomial by its degree. Now, the way you do this with a polynomial, we already discussed how to do it with a monomial, but the degree of a polynomial is the greatest degree of any one of its single terms. So you're going to look through and find out which one has the most variables in it. And then there's special words that go along with it. So I'm going to start at the bottom and work my way up on this chart. So on this one, it looks like the most x values are in this middle term. And if you wrote that out, it'd be 9 times x, there'd be 7 x's. You'd write it all out, okay? So the degree of that circled term there, the one with the most x's in, is 7. And that just simply transfers to being the degree of the whole thing. So there's 7 x's all multiplied in a row in that middle one, and you ignore the rest. So this one has a degree 7, and you write down a polynomial with degree 7. All right, so this one only has 1 x on the next example here. This one has 6 x's, so we'll go with the 6 x's. The degree of that single monomial that we circled is 6, and the whole polynomial at once still stays 6. There's other variables, but you only look at the one that has the most variables. So that's a polynomial with degree 6. All right, and this one here, there's 3 x's down there, but we're going to ignore that. It's up here that counts. It's got 5 x's, so the degree is 5 for that single term that I circled, but the degree of the whole thing is also 5. And this has a special name. When there's 5 variables in the term that has the most variables, it's called quintic. When there's 4 variables, it's called quartic. So you can see that if you're going to memorize both of these, You're going to have to distinguish which one is quartic and which one is quintic, but they both start with Q. Now the next one down here, it doesn't start with Q. 3 variables, x times x times x, is cubic. Now it actually starts with C, but it has a similar sound to the Q. So there's cubic, quartic, and quintic. That's 3rd degree, 4th degree, and 5th degree. Now when there's only 2 variables, and you can see there's 2 variables there and others that I ignore, but the one with the most variables is that 8x squared. That's called quadratic. Oh no, something else that starts with Q. And then when there's only 1 variable, it's linear. Oh, finally, something that doesn't have Q in it, or even something with C that sounds like a Q. But then when there's no variables, it's constant. So those are the classification words you use when it asks you to classify by degree. So once again, if you were to write this out here, there's 6 x's all multiplied down there, which gives it a degree of 6. Here, there's 3 x's here, but that's trumped by this one here. There's more x's in this one. So x to the 5th is 5 x's in a row. The degree is 5. And the word that goes with that when you classify is that's a quintic polynomial. This one here is quartic, since there's 4 x's in the term that has the most variables. And there's 1 x here and 3 there. Go with the one with 3. That makes it 3rd power, which we call cubic. That's a cubic expression or a cubic polynomial. All right, so that's how you classify by degree. And you will be expected to memorize all of those words and which degree they go with, 0 through 5. It only turns generic when you get to 6 and 7 and 8 and so forth. Okay, I'll pick up on page 4 on the next video.